Situated on a bluff overlooking Lake Erie and Dunkirk Harbor, Dunkirk Lighthouse has historically served the dual role of aiding Great Lakes navigation and guiding vessels through the difficult approach to the harbor. In its day, Dunkirk Harbor was a busy port, but gradually as the city and the port of Buffalo to the north grew, the shipping trade migrated there. The first lighthouse was built in 1826 and rebuilt in 1857 to house the Fresnel lens. However, because of the eroding coastline, that lighthouse was torn down. The present light was built on the same property, but further back from the coastline in 1875. Bricks from the original keeper's house were used to construct the foundation for the new keeper's house. The original tower was moved next to the new keeper's residence, but it was decided that the old tower's exterior did not match well with the Victorian-style house. So the construction crew built a square brick tower around the original round one. Inside the tower, visitors today can climb the ornate, circular cast-iron stairway up to the light. At the top of the tower sits the original Fresnel lens, installed in 1857. In addition to the lighthouse on land, there were several lighthouses placed on a pier that jutted out into Lake Erie. The first and second ones collapsed under the weight of the ice that would coat it in winter. The third one was torn down in 1939 and taken to Buffalo. The lightkeeper and his family lived at the lighthouse year-round.
Life here at this lighthouse was actually quite a nice place to live. Most of our lighthouse keepers were here 20, 30, or 40 years because we are inside the city limits of the city of Dunkirk. So they had schools for their children to go to, they had church that they could go to, they had places that they could buy supplies and visit with friends. There was a hospital and doctors here, so this was a very nice lighthouse to live in. In 1897, they actually had running water and sewers put into the property. Once the light was lit at dusk, the lighthouse keeper had to go up and down the tower stairs at least every 4 hours because there was a mechanism at the top of the tower that they had to wind every 4 hours in order to keep the light going around in a circle. It was called a lens clock mechanism that they had. Plus they had to regulate the airflow in the tower so that there wasn't too much air going in because that would burn the oil too quickly. And if there was not enough air going into the tower, it would burn too slowly and produce black smoke, which of course would get all over the lens and windows, and then they had to go up and clean. So it was an all-night job, and if it was stormy during the day, they had to also be up in the lighthouse during the day because the light has to be lit from dusk to dawn and anytime it is stormy out. Here at the Dunkirk Lighthouse, we have a dumbwaiter inside the tower because we have the round tower on the inside and the square tower on the outside. They have a dumbwaiter, so they would pull all of their supplies up using a bucket with a rope and a pulley to carry everything up and down the 55 steps that they would have to go. They kept about a week's supply of oil in the tower itself, in both towers, because they didn't want to keep the full supply of oil there in case it caught on fire. It wouldn't affect the house and tower. It was kept in a separate oil building.
The lighthouse is now the site of the Veterans Park Museum, maintained by the Dunkirk Historical Lighthouse and Veterans Park Museum Association. The complex includes several buildings. The keeper's residence commemorates the life of the lighthouse keeper. A museum building houses displays of the Coast Guard, submarine services, sunken ships, and lake freighters. The light itself is automated and maintained by the Coast Guard. It operates year-round. The lighthouse and grounds are open to the public most days from April to November each year.